I got cystic fibrosis. See, I've got cystic fibrosis.
Hello, welcome to Staying Salty. If you've never been here before or know nothing about us, my name's Chelsea. This week we're talking about scars and body acceptance. Now, I know this is a very sensitive topic, and before I even start talking about my video or anything, I want to preface it all by saying everyone is genuinely beautiful. Whether you have CF or CF-related scars, a colostomy bag, feeding tube, amputation, burn scars, whatever it might be that makes you different in some way, doesn't make you any less beautiful. With today's society, I believe it's so hard to ignore the continued pressure from the media and everyone else for both men and women to look a certain way. But at the end of the day, I truly believe that all that should matter is how you feel about yourself. You're the one who, at the end of the day, has to look yourself in the mirror and lay your head down on your pillow and love that person. I believe everyone's main goal is to love the person that they see in the mirror and to love yourself regardless of the differences you might have. Now, I kind of want to put a disclaimer on my video before I start talking about my scars, that I believe everyone's scars tell a story, and every scar is beautiful. This is my story and how I chose to love myself and love my body, and it is by no means to influence anyone or make anyone feel bad if they didn't choose the same path I did. I'm just simply telling you my story. Now, onto my scars. I will show you at the end, but I just want to tell you a little bit about them first. When I was younger and I was in the hospital for a few months, during which I got a central line which involved 3 different scars, and I also received a G-tube or a feeding tube that I had for about 8 years, so I had a scar from that as well. I also had an intestinal obstruction at age 12 and had to have emergency surgery and had a midline scar that essentially destroyed my belly button. I also have a port and obviously have a scar from that placement that I got right before I turned 20. I also, of course, have a plethora of IV and PICC line scars. Now, if you noticed, I referred to all of my scars in past tense. This is because when I was 15, I decided to have the most prominent scars reconstructed. Being a CF patient, this is something I rarely talk about, especially with other CFers, because it does go so much against the majority of the community's views on scars. I don't deny that scars tell an amazing story and they show the fight that I've gone through with CF. But for me, they weren't who I viewed myself as. Now, I would be lying to you if I were to say there wasn't a part of me that wanted to get rid of them because of how people would look at me in a bathing suit or whatever other people would think. But that wasn't my reason. I didn't do it for anyone else or to look normal. I did it for myself. I remember after I had my abdominal surgery, and of course I still had my feeding tube scar, I would look in the mirror or be changing and I would see my scars and I would hate them. But not because of the reasons you're probably expecting. I didn't hate my scars. I hated what they reminded me of every time I saw them. I've always been the type of person where cystic fibrosis wasn't in the top 5 or even top 10 list of who Chelsea is. But before I had my scars reconstructed, they were a constant reminder that I wasn't the Chelsea I saw myself as. I was a CF patient. I would go about my day happily not even thinking about CF, but I would go to change or shower or anything where I saw my scars, and it was an immediate reminder about my cystic fibrosis. Although I was never ashamed of my scars by any means, I never wanted them to define me or overshadow the Chelsea who I knew I was and who I wanted other people to see. I chose to remove them to put myself and my mind at ease, so that every time I looked in the mirror, I saw Chelsea, not cystic fibrosis. I didn't want a constant reminder of something that already took up so much of my day and my mind, and I wanted to be able to look at myself and see nothing but me. Like I said, I was never ashamed of them, but I made a decision that made me happier and more confident about my own body. I believe that it's everyone's goal to love themselves and love their own body, and reconstructive surgery was the way I was able to do that. I'm now able to look at myself in the mirror and see the hard work I've done at the gym and see my body for what it is, and not just see a disease and a sick person and what I've been through. Now, with that out of the way, I will show you my scars. I don't really have, honestly, a lot of pictures from before. I found a few, so I'll put those right here so you can see what it did look like before, but I am wearing a sports bra, by the way, so I thought ahead of this. So, let's see. This is one of my central line scars. The other one is down here, and right here are my 3 central line scars. Here is my port, the scar from the placement, and there's one up there where they had to anchor it in. And, whoops, here, oh, it's really close. Here is my abdominal scars. Now, if you could see, this is where my feeding tube used to be. It still is like slightly discolored, so there's something, but not nearly what it used to be. And here is my old abdominal scar. Let me see if I can get this out. Now, I didn't always have my belly button pierced, but after I got it reconstructed, when you look far away, you essentially just see a giant hole where my belly button should be. So with the belly button ring, it is slightly less noticeable. Huh. Messed up all my hair trying to show you guys that. But moving on to the more body acceptance aspect of this topic. Now, of course, I get the comments from other people, even friends sometimes, about how small I am, and comments like how I need to eat a cheeseburger, but I've never really let them get to me. Yes, some do hurt, and given the circumstances under which they might occur, they can hurt even worse. Like if I have been trying to gain weight for months without success. But what I've learned is my reaction and how I let these words affect me are in my full control. In my mind, as long as I knew I was healthy, working out, eating right, and doing everything that I needed to do to make sure I was healthy, what other people thought and said were rather irrelevant. I've never seen a point in beating myself up mentally over things, putting myself down, or dwelling on the negative aspects of my CF. Being negative about your situation, whatever it might be, your struggles, appearance, or CF in general, benefits no one. It won't cure CF. It definitely won't make it any easier on yourself. And worst of all, your negativity is only going to affect you, and it's going to affect you tremendously. I have tried to never dwell on the aspects of my life that are out of my control, because being negative and dwelling on these aspects won't change them. They're not going to change anything. It'll only change my happiness. With all of this in this whole video, I urge you to try and love yourself. Be conscious about your words towards others. And above all, do whatever you think is best for yourself and what will make you happiest and make you be the best you that you can be. With all of that and this whole video, thank you so much for watching. Check out our social media pages down below. I'll link them all. And if you have any questions or comments, please put them down there. I'm completely open to talking to anyone, answering any questions about my experience, because I know it's very different than a lot of other people and a lot of other CFers. So with all of that, reach out to me if you want. But until next week, I'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Bye.